Welcome to Rawcast AD episode 19. I'm Doug, your host as always. Had an interesting time doing some reflection period, I guess, while I was between jobs, and realized that I had kind of become an isolated hermit. Time away from the podcast, 14 months of a hiatus is a long time, and when you already feel like you don't have much of a social life, just lots and lots of responsibilities, always on the go, always something to do. Friends kind of go by the wayside. And so this week's episode of the podcast, I guess what I'm trying to say, had an old college roommate, Nathan, if you remember way back from episode 12, College Days and Cruising the Culture Brews, I believe was the episode. We went on a long journey. It was a 2-part episode. But with everything going on, busy, lack of a social life, as a result, a consequence of being a good parent, a good person, good spouse, however you want to put it, it was just nice to sit down with my friend Nathan, old college roommate, heck of a guy. We kept a spotless apartment. I think we even talked about that last time he was on. It was just nice for me to sit down without an agenda for the first time in quite a while. So I'm sorry if this has some continuity problems, if you are unable to keep up with some of the possible obscure pop culture references. The intention was to talk about Game of Thrones from the start, but it did not take us long to digress and go off on tangents. Every now and then we'd loop back around, but it was just really nice to sit down and have a relaxing conversation, catching up with my old college roommate, Nathan. So let's check that out. All right, sitting here with buddy Nathan. I'm sure some of you remember him from way back when we talked, what was it? I can't remember the title. We were talking about brewing beers.
Brewing beers, old stories from college, a little bit of everything. I give anybody credit who listened to that episode and got anything out of it, because it was a meandering path.
We did get some feedback from a few people that they had fun listening to it, though.
Good. I feel there was a lot of inside jokes on there, but hopefully it was things that could still be relevant to people.
Yeah, sometimes I'll hear jokes that I think are funny, even if it's out of context, because I'll laugh. To me, it sounds funny.
Situational comedy.
I'm not in on the joke, but ha 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 ha. Yeah. So, did you watch the Game of Thrones finale?
Yeah, finally. Luckily enough, I was able to catch it on HBO. It was at 10:40 at night, but I'm getting old. I need to get to bed early so I can.
10:40 at night. Yeah. Did you not see it premiered? Or?
No, I didn't see it premiered. I was at the Minnesota State Fair, the great get-together. Didn't get back into town about 12:30 in the morning of the finale, and it wasn't replaying that at that time, so I had to catch it on a rerun.
Even 5 years ago, we would have said, like, 12:30, shit, let's go grab a beer.
Yeah.
Now 12:30,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I was able to catch the finale. I thought the finale was good, but I definitely feel the episode before was definitely more tense, which, obviously is probably how they meant it to be, because there was just more going on in that episode, and finale was just kind of a nice way to wrap it up and seal it until, we have to wait 2 years for the next episode to come out.
Are you sure it's going to be 2 years?
For 2019. I don't know where that source came from, obviously.
I thought NPR said possibly July of 2018.
Let's hope. Again, I don't have an accurate source.
Because if it doesn't come out like at a reasonable time frame, it's gonna end up being a race between George Martin finishing the next book and the next season coming out.
And just staying alive, I think. But the wait builds the suspense, and suspense means money. And
yeah, but you remember when the last book came out? Like, we tore through that, and I'd have to reread it to remember where we left off.
Well,
or some SparkNote shit going on.
So I got into it because I think the first season had actually wrapped up on TV.
Oh, is that right?
So I read the entire the series as it stood then, thinking that it was done. I thought it was over with. At Dance with Dragons is at book 5.
Yeah,
so
book 5.
I thought that was the end of it, and then I got into it, and somebody enlightened me. No, there's still like 3 more books coming. What?
And he's talking about coming out with. There's 2 other side works that deal with the same realm that he's possibly putting out beforehand. And I get it. I respect the guy's writing. I'll probably read those, whatever they are that he puts out. But it would be nice to finish the series.
Yeah.
Because I caught up to Stephen King with the Dark Tower series, man.
Yeah, I read those years ago. That was a
I still remember you
series,
finishing the end of that book.
Yeah.
You messaged me like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, I wanted to hit something. That one was kind of not disappointing, just like, come on. Like, really? Just essentially hit the reset button. And
spoiler alert, man.
They don't know what that means.
Did you get to watch The Dark Tower, the
Not
movie?
yet.
I didn't watch it yet either, and
It's in the queue. It's in the queue.
my wife and I are really budget our movie money. It's expensive to go out to the theater now. So we are very selective about which movies we go see. And The Dark Tower was one that I'm super amped up for. She doesn't really care. So I'm reading the reviews. Some of them are like, well, if you separate it from the book, it's pretty good. And the rest are like, it's shit.
Well, that's every critic out there about everything. Honestly, if you have Idris Elba reading ingredient panels for an hour and a half, I'd watch that. I like Idris Elba.
Yeah.
That guy could sing me to sleep at night, probably. But
no, he's a cool guy. And
I like his work. I think it was a good pick for the character. I'm excited to see how the visualization of the universe looks, just because, what you picture in your head while reading something is obviously very different than how the books or how the things play out on TV. But I'm just excited to see it visualized in some way. I think it's been a long time coming, obviously. I think it's been picked up and dropped a few times. I'm glad that finally somebody put it out there.
Yeah.
And even if it's not great, I've never let critics influence that, because most of the critics are looking at it from, a very artistic standpoint, which, film is.
I'm curious what critics said about The 13th Warrior. That may seem out of left field, but I love that movie.
Yeah, or Green Street Hooligans, or other kind of lesser known. Green Street has now kind of become a cult classic, but
most definitely.
You look at what critics say about it, and they're like, character development really isn't deep, and I don't know. It kept me in my seat and kept me watching the whole time, and I've watched it like 18 times since. So obviously that's good enough for me.
Right, dude?
But I take what critics say very, with a grain of sand. With everything. When it comes to a video game, when it comes to those types of things. I influence people closer to me, like friends and stuff like that. People who I know are in tune with those things. I've got a good buddy that is huge into the comic book world and stuff like that, and so I trust his opinion when it comes to those movies, because he's like, it's a pretty honest portrayal, or pretty close to it, and I don't have time to read all the comics, or much less get all tight in the pants when it comes to tough. Little bits of detail and things like that. Like, just
I actually have Marvel Unlimited, where you pay like $10 a month and you can read any of Marvel's archives, basically. So like, since Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel, there's all the Star Wars comics on there. Like, their collection is so huge. I've been able to get through. I signed up probably 4 months ago, and I've been able to read 67 issues of the original Avengers run. That is it. Yeah. Because time for I'm married. I got 2 kids. Work full time. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, for me, the thing is, like, where do you start? Because it's such a large universe, and even within that universe, there's all of these spin-offs.
There's alternative universes.
They never kill anybody off. It's like, no, they're in a different universe, or they're in a parallel, or they're caught in a time paradox.
So they technically kill
just
them
let
off.
go. Kill the person off. Loss is okay, and especially if they're not that deep of a character. It's okay letting somebody go.
How tied into the Marvel movies are you?
I've seen, I think, pretty much every one that's come out.
The most surprising one to me was Ant-Man.
That actually ended up being one of my favorites.
Same here.
It lacked the campy comedy that some of the others did. Like Paul Rudd just pulls off that sarcastic, smart-ass just so easily that it fits.
It's a more serious Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, that one actually became one of my favorites, and I was actually disappointed by some of the more core movies and sequels from the originals. I think they definitely suffered from the second and third movie.
Yeah, Iron Man 2 and 3. Ugh.
Yeah,
2 wasn't bad,
still
but
entertaining.
Yeah.
Will I buy them on Blu-ray and do? Yeah, probably, because I have a little bit of OCD and I can't have an incomplete collection. There are gaps in it, so that must be taken care of.
To be honest with you, that's why it was always tough, like Walmart, where you get the 4 for $5 deal, where it's got 4 movies in one. Yep. How do you alphabetize that crap?
Got these alphabetized by genre.
Well, like
what about two that cross genres?
You'd be like Clerks, Mallrats, Terminator, Predator. Like what?
Yeah, Well, funny enough, I was having a conversation with some people at the end of July, and they're like, "Who buys DVDs anymore?" I just kind of slunk off into the corner, like, "Shit, am I one of those people? Am I that out of touch?" I buy the Blu-rays now because I have that technology now, but
well, see that I stopped with the DVDs. My kids honestly broke so many of them. Like they've broken more than I knew I had. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that one. Thanks for reminding me, kids.
And now it's gone.
I'll admit I have Amazon Prime. It's like the cool thing with Game of Thrones, with Amazon Prime, you're able to basically get an HBO subscription without having to have Charter cable or whatever. In our neck of the woods, you have to have Charter, otherwise you don't really have much of a choice. AT&T's in the area now, though, right?
Well, I have Dish Network because satellite
Network.
TV and internet are included in my rent. Great thing about the cost of living in central Wisconsin, folks.
We dirt poor on property values, as Dan. But so with Amazon,
I don't know what to do with that.
That's okay, man. With Amazon Prime, basically 8:00 is when the premiere came on. Mm-hmm. At 7:59, it automatically populates. You just hit play and go.
Nice.
And so, admittedly, when I'm buying movies now, it's in electronic format linked to my Amazon account.
Yeah.
Any device.
I'm still not caught up with the current century, I guess, in terms of technology. I still
look like a noob. Settle down back there. I mean, I don't have that many movies on there. Maybe a handful. But it is like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Jess really wanted to see Wonder Woman, which I thought was good.
Best one from the DC universe so far.
So far, yeah. Because Batman v Superman, I did...
Not great. Still entertaining. I watched it beginning to end, didn't turn it off.
See, that's how I feel about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies now. Is like, they were entertaining at the time.
I feel like we could have this conversation about a lot. It was fun at the time, but now we're past it.
There have been many a time like that.
I feel like we're going to have those conversations with our children at some point. Might seem fun at the time, but you don't go tell your friends about it.
It's bad.
Right? Like, oh yeah, a pink scooter, right? A lot of fun to do, but don't want your friends catching you doing it. Apparently, that's what owning DVDs is.
I don't see why that is, though. Like, what's... Okay.
I don't know.
DVDs.
I just felt... Well, first and foremost, in this group, I felt out of place anyway, because I was the only one from Wisconsin. These were some people from the suburbs of Chicago and everything like that. Good breed of people. Just we've lived very different lifestyles, and I was in stark contrast to everybody else in this group, and it was good because we made jokes about it and everything. Like, yeah, I'm happy I can read. Coming from my Northwood school district, and I'm happy I'm above the literacy curve. But I also joked with them, like, if things went to hell, I would actually probably survive. And they might not. But
can I get an Uber to the wilderness?
Can you take me to the woods?
Hello, I'm looking for off the grid. Can you take me there?
It's not coming up on Google Maps.
I have my dad's credit card. He can get us there.
These are people that, Airbnb to stay in places that I grew up in, away from it all. It's like, Jesus, I spent my whole life trying to get to where it was, not get away from it all. But yeah, these people are like, who buys DVDs anymore? And I'm like, oh shit.
Is that not cool anymore?
I almost I didn't want to out myself and be like, well, no. Yeah, who buys DVDs anymore? Blu-ray, right? And then they'd probably still look at me like I'm some kind of rube from the mountains.
Were they younger than you? Is that the case?
Yeah, mostly. But I think most of them are just, the streaming and stuff like that.
It gets so selective with the streaming, though.
Not, everything's not available out there. And again, I want to be able to play it whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And part of it is, my biggest thing with Netflix is you end up just getting tied up searching for things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a happy little accident to stumble across a movie you haven't seen for a while. Mm-hmm. Play it. But other times it's like you're really hoping that something's going to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
You search for it, and then you're left like things related to. It's like
there's a lot of content.
I watch the original. I don't want to watch what's related to it. I want to watch the actual thing. And so that's why I like still buying hard media. Yeah, in a few years, hard media is probably going to disappear. It's just going to be different streaming services.
Yeah, but
you'll have a device, like a receiver, download everything, watch it in your queue. You'll pay a monthly subscription, and the hard media will go away.
It's no different than different mediums. Like people who still buy CDs. I mean, we have one legitimate record store in our town, and they're still in business. It may be tight, but there's people out there buying.
Yeah, kind of the hardliners that still stick to those types of things.
Or like we were talking about how I've switched to Audible the other day. Well, I've been with Audible for a few months, but our conversation was the other day. How I had switched to audiobooks because the kids were wrecking books and then it just takes up too much space. And that was tough for me to get into right away. I ended up doing mostly nonfiction, like business and finance books, stuff like that, which doesn't sound like me. I have not read a work of fiction in probably 6 to 8 months, but I still miss having the hard copies.
Yeah. I typically only read fiction mostly because I like it as an escape. I love the characters.
Yeah.
I love the universes. I don't want to read anything about what I can actually go out and see and touch and feel. Even though most of the time I'm just sitting on my couch playing Xbox, watching Netflix anyway. I'm not out and about in the nature.
I could go see that if I wanted to, but I don't.
There's bugs. And
So
other
bugs.
people, most likely.
The skeeters have been bad this year.
But, all joking aside, I love turning the page. I love having bookshelves. I would love to have my own. I imagine having a room with a fireplace, just floor to ceiling bookshelves with a big ass leather chair that I can sit and drink a marginally decent bourbon by.
Yeah,
Because I can't afford the good stuff. I'm not mincing here. I can't afford the good stuff. So unless it's given to me as a gift, it's going to be marginal.
I spent the top shelf money on the shelves.
Yeah, I'm all out after the chair.
After the chair.
I'm going to get one of the faux leather ones from Shopko. I'm not even going to spend my money on the chair. I'll probably spill in it. This
is a nice $1,000 chair. That's a $200 chair. But it looks
like it looks like $1,000. At least a solid $850.
You can totally tell this is almost real. Yeah, cycle all the way back because we go down the rabbit hole. It seems
started with Game of Thrones, and now here we are talking about faux leather chairs.
I don't know how I feel about the scene where, as they're about to get it on, like totally in the action. It's just
the
like
eye lock. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I was like, that's awkwardly long.
But like,
just
as they're getting it on, and the voice of Bran Stark is like, they're relatives. Like, you just imagine David Attenborough being like
trying to make a commentary on incest, like.
In desperate times, these two find shelter and mate. Like David Attenborough just talking, like, it's mildly disgusting. But I mean, it's meant to be this. That's the finale, though. Is just like, hey, those two characters you wanted to get together, they're finally banging. By the way,
But guess what? Wubba lubba dub dub.
like, there's gonna be clips all over Pornhub. Like, yes. Dragon Ant can't wait to hop. Iceborne nephew.
Oh man.
Like, it was good, but it felt compressed, condensed, and rushed for the most part on the whole season.
Yeah, I agree. Although I did enjoy how much they spent on the actual forum.
Yeah.
You know, I think they did well there. But
Arya finally taking out Littlefinger.
yes, I loved. And man, talk about showing your true colors when he gets down and just starts begging when he knows he's done for. Just like,
it's so good though.
Spineless.
Like, I didn't. I'm always on the lookout. I look at things from like a production standpoint, and so I'm always on the lookout for something funky to happen that kind of, plot twist. But when Sansa called out Littlefinger in the room, like, obviously they set it up to look like it's Arya's fault, like, or she's gonna be the one in trouble. She's gonna get her head cut off, whatever. And then just like, nah, gotchas.
So I actually had a friend give me the rundown of the episode. Spoilers don't really bother me. I still get enjoyment of seeing it. So
yeah,
our mutual friend John gave me the rundown over Xbox chat because he
Big
couldn't.
John?
Yeah,
Nice.
he couldn't hold it in anymore. He's like, "Oh my god, did you see it yet?" I'm like, "No, John, I haven't." God damn it! It was just like, dude, just tell me. I'm like, just tell me. It obviously means a lot to you to tell me this. So go ahead, run it down for me. It's not going to ruin it. I'll still be able to get to see it and actually see the scenes and everything. Mm-hmm. Spoilers don't really bother me because most of the time I haven't figured out what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really good and they, plot twists.
Well, if you didn't think that the Viserion, the dragon, was going to come back as one of the undead,
I saw that right away.
It's obvious.
Well, not right away, but you could tell they were foreshadowing one. You knew at least at some point in time one of the dragons was going to go down.
Yeah.
Whether it was either by the scorpion or some other means, it was going to happen.
It only really made sense for it to be north of the wall, though.
Yeah, it added more tragedy to it. And just to show just how strong the White Walkers are.
Not only do they need that tragedy, but they can still utilize that peace. How else were they going to bring down the wall?
Well, now the White Walkers are even more terrifying because they have an ice dragon.
Yeah.
Which, melting through the wall, that was pretty terrifying.
And as of where the season is left off, they're marching through the Gift right now, headed south towards Winterfell.
So as soon as the Night King was there and the dragons were flying around, I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
Something will happen. As soon as I saw the ice spear, I was like, shit. Something's definitely going to happen. I didn't know which dragon it was going to happen to. Obviously, probably not.
You just knew it was going to be a low blow no matter what.
But, man, the blood spurting out, that was pretty intense. And then as soon as that went down, I was like, he's going to turn the dragon.
Yep.
He's going to raise the dragon, and he's going to have an ice dragon, and an undead dragon. I knew it right as soon as...
Have you read any of, like, the fan theories and stuff for the finale? Like, people are saying that Bran is the Night King.
And again, I was having a chat over Xbox chat. That seems to be
share us the John wisdom.
Well, this wasn't John. This happened to be another mutual friend, Jeff Cole. He was another res lifer on campus. And,
I feel betrayed.
So. But he asked. Well, actually, so Jeff do you think that Bran is the Night King? And John does not think so. He thinks that the Night King is an ancestor of the Starks, perhaps, but not necessarily.
It only makes
Bran.
sense.
But I could see where people think they've matched up his clothing, they've matched up his facial features, and it is really close. Mm-hmm. Plus, you have the whole thing of he can pseudo time travel as the three-eyed crow, and that's how you can introduce that stuff. You have unlimited possibilities if there's time manipulation,
but it has to be time manipulation.
Look at the universe of Marvel, like we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever dies because there's always another universe or another place for them to exist.
Well, at least in the comics. But as far as the movies, I have a feeling that, and we're switching gears a lot here, but it's all in the same realm of like
keep up
fantasy. If you haven't kept up, just pause it and go home.
Don't let go. Don't let go of the rope. And I just imagine our listeners like on those little kiddie ropes that like grade schools have. Like, don't stray from the crowd,
teacher. But with the Marvel movies, they have spent so much time building up this just huge monolithic Hollywood industry in itself.
Yeah.
Since what, 2008 was it when Iron Man came out? All the movies they've had so far, and there's still going to be a bunch. They've plotted this out to the point where they're getting to the end of phase 3, because they've had phases in their plan. Mm-hmm. Iron Man was phase 1. Now you're up to Avengers Infinity War, which is phase 3.
Which I have a feeling if that work doesn't go well, I think they're gonna lose a lot of people. If they rush it and it just becomes kind of what I think of as kind of the flaw of a lot of the X-Men movies, where you just try to pack so many characters in. Mm-hmm. As like an homage to the comics, like, oh look, there's so and so, oh, and there's so and so, like the big combined battle scenes, like those always seem to be rushed. They knocked it out of the park in Captain America: Civil War, I think.
Yes,
because just seemed to be everybody's strengths were countered by somebody from the other side. I think that was done really well.
Yeah.
So they need to do that.
Civil
same
War was
formula.
Awesome.
That's up there as one of my favorites in the franchise. But I think they have to do the Infinity War ones really well, because it's building up to this big conflict with this really bad character, Thanos, and
they're going to do a good job with it, because the first one's already wrapped. It's in post-production. But the fact that it's going to be 2 movies.
Oh, they're Harry Pottering it and
in a way,
it.
it was supposed to be Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, but they're actually breaking it apart for 2 standalone movies, but it's still going to be part of the big storyline. Ah. But if you're going to have, last I heard was like 68 characters they're going to have in there. The only reason you're going to have 68 characters is because Thanos is a big enough badass that it's going to take every hero in the Marvel universe to fight him. But then naturally, for the movie's sake, in the comics it'll be brought back to life, but in the movies, some of them are going to die. I think Cap is going down.
I was just going to... He's at the top of my list as far as characters to go down, just because he's the epitome of the pure good character, and he would go down willingly to save his other team members.
He'd be a martyr for the cause.
Absolutely. That's who he is. He's the classic square-jawed hero archetype. Like, that's... And in a way, I can see Iron Man doing the same thing.
Yep.
Despite, him and Cap being at odds, they do make each other better and stronger. So I see, and Tony was willing to do that in the Avengers movie with going up and sealing the breach, whatever they wanted to call that.
That was an awesome scene, dude. Ugh.
So I think, he's willing to do that, despite how egotistical he is and things like that. I think he's still willing to put himself on the line for the greater good. But I think you're right. Bodies will drop on that one.
Well,
I'm hoping that Hawkeye makes it through.
Oh, I got a soft spot
for Hawkeye because he's like the everyman. Like he's
married.
He's just a normal guy who's really good at archery. Essentially, and
he's running with the big dogs.
Yeah, like he says in the movie, he's like, "Lady, nothing makes sense. We're in a floating city." We're fighting robots, and I've got a bow and arrow. Dude's just doing his job. He's a soldier. He's fighting. He's doing what he's got to do, and he's doing well at it.
Well, he's doing it right. He's got a wife and kids, like in this awesome cabin out in the
It's not a cabin. That's a Victorian house that he's got in the middle.
I wanted to
of the
call it a
wilderness.
cabin to make myself feel better, man. He's got a gorgeous house out in the wilderness.
He's got this dumpy little bungalow in the middle of the woods.
Like I just picture him on the weekend. They're having a campfire. Be like, "What's for dinner?" Be like, "I'm gonna go bag an elk real quick, honey. Be right back."
As he's wearing a flannel and just walks off.
In his costume from the comics, where it's like all the purple,
tight leather,
big old H on his forehead.
But I hope he makes it through.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
Well, I can totally understand that. Especially because like he's the man's man of the whole thing.
But at the same time, he's the most vulnerable.
Realistically, yeah. There's Vision, of course, is gonna die.
How big do you think your balls have to be to just be this normal guy? It's like, oh, an otherworld super alien who's not afraid of death? I'm gonna fucking shoot him in the eye with an arrow. Like,
take my grenade-tipped arrows. Ba-boom.
Just kind of reminds me of like mini Chodo Boy from Orgasmo.
And Chodo Boy.
Just gonna bust out with the cock rocket. Just Thanos across the face. Just demoralize him right from the get-go. Just like, yeah, welcome to Earth.
You made me feel small. I retreat.
Just throw so many punny one-liners in there, dude.
I'm sure Infinity War is gonna be awesome, but you got to think of it from just the production standpoint of it's too early to kill off Ant-Man because they have Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel hasn't been introduced yet on the big screen. They've announced who she is and everything, but
I am stoked for the Black Panther movie.
It looks pretty good. I think they did a good job with casting him, and it could be awesome because
is badass.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 didn't really have anything to do with the Avengers build-up, but Black Panther and Thor have to have something to do with it. You know, well, Thor, of course, is going to, because that's, you can tell by how they're doing the trailers for Thor Ragnarok that it's becoming a little bit more like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Kind of the retro flair to it.
Yeah, they're adding that retro flair so they can bring that in. You see a little bit of a clip where something happens probably at the end of Ragnarok where Thor's like flying through space and hits the ship of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Like that's how they get introduced.
What I'm worried about is that because Guardians has done so well with kind of, you know, because the soundtrack is a huge part of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, kind of playing up the retro-ness of it, even though they don't that much. I'm worried that
James Gunn actually writes the songs into the script.
Yeah.
How nuts is that?
I'm worried that they're gonna be like, you know, we got this formula. People are loving it. And then they're going to try doing that with every movie. And I don't see it.
I don't think they will, though, because...
Well, I guess they haven't so far with the other ones. After Guardians of the Galaxy,
they have to do a very good job of basically isolating each movie to give it its unique feel. Ant-Man was obviously a heist movie. Thor was like the identity crisis almost. Yeah. You know, the finding yourself, finding your own worth, because he couldn't lift his hammer. In a way, Iron Man was the same way. Like Tony had to atone for all of his sins.
So you're looking at the deep messages in the movies. I'm just seeing the dude in a cool suit of armor. I don't read that deep.
I'm big into it, man, though. When you look at the origin stories and whatnot. I will admit...
people love redemption stories. They love revenge stories.
Oh, yeah.
A good revenge flick is always good.
You look at the comics and everybody was rooting for the hero. By the time Captain America Civil War came out, we live in a time where people prefer the anti-hero as opposed to the superhero. Do you want Superman to win, or do you want Batman to win?
Thank you for bringing this up, because I was going to bring this up anyway. I just want to take maybe the rest of the episode to rant on how much I hate Superman. I hate Superman.
This is a one-sided argument here.
Please feel free to do it. I don't know how this works. If you comment or what, or I don't know.
Oh, there's comment space on Twitter,
Yeah,
Facebook,
please
SoundCloud.
feel free to comment. But I hate Superman. I hate how good, and he's got everything. He's indestructible. He's got the laser vision. He can fly. God, I hate that. I just hate how righteous that turd is. Like, no, just I'm glad he died. I'm just I like the actor. But God, do I hate that character. I've never liked Superman.
No.
It just
actually
the blue and the red, horrible combination.
The only time I loved Superman was Dean Cain. Lois and Clark, man.
Never watched it, never cared to. I've never liked Superman.
Dean carried the torch when nobody else did for Superman. But other than that, the character, the origin, I like the origin, but then and the Earth's sun makes him damn near immortal and invincible. Yeah. Lex Luthor has a rock.
Superman is the equivalent of the guy who shows up with a guitar at things and just go get out of here. Just no. Cannot stand Superman.
Well, you realize they're gonna bring Superman back for Justice League, though.
Whatever.
They have to.
I'm hoping that all the collective other Jason Momoa is Aquaman finally.
He looks
not
good.
An Aryan-looking person to play Aquaman. Thank you, finally. For
people flipping out about was it Gal Gadot? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The Israeli that plays Wonder Woman. Like, how can you cast her as that role? It's like she was an Amazonian. Like,
she looked good.
She was awesome.
Like, she did well. If you take a supermodel and make her a movie star, that's a pretty big jump.
She's a good actress too.
An action star. She nailed that. But yeah, I hate Superman. Yeah, I'm still on this. I'm not done. I will take the rest of the episode if I have to. I'm just gonna intermittently just keep grumbling about how much I hate Superman. But I've never liked heroes that just get everything right, and they're just. Yeah, they struggle morally, but they still have all of the powers to overcome everything. I love, yes, the anti-heroes, the easily corruptible ones. The Punisher, one of my favorite characters.
The Punisher, Deadpool. Some variations of Batman.
Yeah, the brutally, where there's no gray, there's black, there's white. Do
you end up watching the animated movies for this stuff, like the Flashpoint paradox and stuff like that?
Not all of them. I've seen a few, and they're really well done.
Flashpoint was awesome.
Really enjoy those as well. But
Batman is my all-time favorite superhero, but I prefer overall the Marvel universe, and it's just because, I'm appreciating Wonder Woman more and more, but Batman, his origin story and what he is. He's basically a mixed martial artist, more or less. He can fight in so many different styles. The dude's...
well, I believe in the early comics, they build him as, the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
He's a different spin on a detective who, had hopes that he's rich.
It was more about... it's kind of like Tony Stark, though, as Iron Man. They even ask the question, I think Cap asked it, take away the suit, what are you?
Yeah.
The dude's like billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Yeah. Still get your ass beat without your suit, but
yeah.
Be able to pay your hospital bills.
But that's what it is. Like, he used his mind to create something that enhances his body's abilities.
And there's a lot of other characters in the same vein. You know, look at...
Like you said, Hawkeye. Like, dude's he probably practiced a shit ton to hit that fucking bullseye every time. It could
be argued that, maybe he is a metahuman because he's that accurate and he's that good.
Who knows?
Maybe there's something there. I don't know. I don't know everything.
Like, maybe he can slow down time in a short burst.
Something like that, yeah. But if we're staying in the vein of movies for this talk,
I'm fine with it. That's what we connected on originally, I think.
So the first one is I saw the newest King Arthur telling.
Yeah.
The Guy Ritchie one with Charlie Hunnam. Really enjoyed that.
Is it?
I enjoyed it because, it was, again, spoilers, but Charlie Hunnam plays King Arthur, who parents die through circumstances, and he grows up in a brothel. But here he is, the heir to this kingdom, who is being hunted by a usurper. But he grew up in a brothel and is an underworld gangster who essentially rules Londinium, which is the old Roman Empire that evolved into London. And it's just a really cool telling that he's reluctant to take up this mantle of who he is, and he doesn't believe it, but he pulls the sword out of the stone because they're using it as a test to find the heir so that they can kill him, obviously. And
Dang.
it was gritty, classic Guy Ritchie, has those elements of kind of the fast talking back and forth. Think Snatch, just with the King Arthur story. I think it was really well done.
Huh.
Again, that's just one schlub who watches a lot of movies and doesn't have any formal training, that kind of stuff. But that's my endorsement. It was a very enjoyable movie. I like I saw this Onion article about how immigrants have a hard time assimilating because we're constantly rebooting movie franchises. It's told from the standpoint of this African immigrant. Like, I got used to Tobey Maguire, and then there was Andrew Garfield, and now there's this other Tom Holland guy. How am I supposed to assimilate if you keep rebooting all these things? I can't talk with you because I'm always behind. It was just like, well, damn, that's actually a pretty valid thing.
Well, the fact that they are rebooting movies from when we were kids.
The Red Dawn reboot.
Yes. But they had to update it, so it was about North Koreans now.
Well, really not that far. And again, North Koreans with Russian advisor support.
Yeah, not to get into politics, but did you see the videos of like the Japanese, like air raid sirens going off, and they're like, "Attention, take cover. We've just detected a new North Korean missile launch." And so like people are just taking cover. Like North Korea actually launched a missile, and I think it was something like 80 miles east off the coast of Japan, something like that. Don't quote me on the number. But they actually shot it over Japan, and it landed harmlessly in the ocean. But there's the Japanese just like, oh, yeah, they fired something. There it is. Oh, unclench your buttholes. All right, we're good this time. Like, how nuts is that?
Wah, wah.
But how nuts is that?
It's crazy.
It's a pissing match is what it is. Kim Jong-un was like, fire it over Japan. It'd be funny.
Well, I was watching John Oliver's show.
Ooh, you like Last Week Tonight?
That was, in all honesty, that was the first I've actually watched of it.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it, and it was really well put together, and he was and a lot of it made sense that it's just... What I think you have are two countries that have very skewed views of who the other people are.
Yeah.
Don't forget the North Koreans are very sheltered. Again, this could be incorrect on a lot of these.
They're the hobbits of the world.
Well, and because of their government. But put yourself, Kim Jong-un is terrified of losing power. Mm-hmm. So of course he has to posture. Yeah. Of course he has to make these threats.
He got post up.
He cannot give any inch there lest somebody from his regime try to overthrow him or, again, another country come in and overthrow him. But there was an interview on this episode. Again, this is the John Oliver show, and it was this young girl who grew up in North Korea, and they were talking about the math lessons, and they're like, there are 9 American bastards. And you need to kill this many American bastards. How many American bastards are left? That's in their math textbooks. Wow. That's how they're taught math. Like, that's how they're taught. And I think it's just, again, they see us as all these people living high on the hog and, all of these luxuries wasteful. And all of those types of things. And we keep seeing them as
the capital people from the Hunger Games.
Don't forget the societies are at the whim of the people that run them, essentially. And, it's supposed to be power of the people, but
no, they
not really.
They've been brainwashed since birth.
Well, and haven't we?
We have, actually.
Look how quickly we just, I'm guilty of it. Every time I hear something about North Korea, nothing's ever gonna happen. Ignorance is bliss. Nobody wants to worry about those types of things.
Nice.
And then shit happens, and then you're there with your ass in the wind.
Yeah. Uplifting stories with Nathan.
Yeah, eternal optimist. But so King Arthur reboot, good. That's my review. Good. Would watch again.
Round and round.
Second one, John Wick. Can we talk about these
I
movies?
still have not seen John Wick.
Oh my god, dude.
I've heard awesome things. I've seen a clip or two.
They are right at the very top of my favorite movies now.
Really?
I love them. It's a revenge story. That just the second one.
That's a revered position on your DVD case.
Yeah, it's out top row. DVD, not even the Blu-ray, folks. This is an actual DVD.
See, Nathan's so serious about his DVD collection. I remember when we would compare, because yours was bigger than mine, but
right it is.
But we were like, what you didn't have, I did have. Like, there were more movies that each one of us didn't have than what we had in common, which was kind of awesome because when we would combine the collections on the rack, I remember you going, "That's nice." Like,
I like that. That's really, really nice.
That's a lot of DVDs on the shelf.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Everybody makes fun of my apartment because it's like the island of misfit furniture to some extent. There's just a lot of pieces that don't really go together.
Here's my lawn chair, my 5-gallon pail.
Took my fiance to essentially give me her stuff to make any semblance of order in the place.
She planned it out that way? Like, God, he needs this.
Well, she bought it all for when we were living together, and then with grad school and jobs and everything. Yeah, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada.
I got furniture.
Yeah, I got nice furniture. Stuff I'm not afraid to have people sit on. Anyway,
like now I'm picturing mason jars or something like that's not a chair.
Here, sit on this.
It'll hurt your butt.
Those are just egg cartons. How am I supposed to sit on egg cartons?
Pizza boxes.
You just stack them up, they're fine.
I'm trying to be a gracious host.
How many egg cartons do you have? Anyway, what I was trying to get to was my little DVD rack. Fresh off the shelf at Shopko, I believe, or back when Pomida still existed, for those of you that know Pomida, which is now Shopko hometown.
For those of you fiscally conservative folk of the Northwood.
Yeah, it sounds better as the Northwood.
There's one left, I hear.
There's just one wood. Anyway.
Just a 2x4 now.
Logging, yeah, industry, progress. Anyway, apparently, I can't build things very well, or I don't follow directions very well. There's a noticeable bend in my DVD rack, right in the middle. So it makes a nice little angle, or a dog leg.
What's it made out of?
Pine, probably. And those little lock screws.
I hate lock screws.
Not great, but it serves its purpose. It holds everything up. I have to tighten it monthly to make sure it doesn't lean too bad. Otherwise, it throws off the feng shui of the living room with the pizza box furniture and the dirty underwear laying all over the place and the half and full empty beer cans.
We got one from Best Buy that was gonna. It was gonna look like when we lived together in college. It was gonna be this. Except it was the Best Buy version, so it was like the really nice looking one, but cheap.
Yep.
Damn thing broke when we were putting it together.
Yep. Do you remember my entertainment center? Cinder blocks and countertop chunks from.
I remember picking that out at Menards.
Yes. That was the best damn entertainment center I had, and that whole $5 for the whole thing.
It was 3 pieces or 3-foot sections. I want to say
countertop with the lip on it.
Yep, and then cinder
about
blocks.
5 of the cinder blocks. Modern and modular.
It fit the TV, the DVD player, the Xbox 360.
It was customizable.
It was very modular.
It was very modular. For $5.
Seriously. I saw a post of somebody that had 4 college textbooks with their TV on it, and they're like, "Look at my $1,000 entertainment stand."
No shit. That is honestly.
My first thought was the entertainment stand we had in the apartment when we lived together, and I'm just like, $5, $1,000. Like, so basically, you save the money there. You could have, spent a lot on video games after that, or DVDs.
Video games are a dangerous spiral.
I haven't played seriously in quite a while. I'll play like an hour of StarCraft once every 3 months, and then I have to go, yep, that was good.
See you again next month.
Can I just have a sip? That was good. Because otherwise it will turn into oh, jeez.
It's 2:00 in the morning.
I was supposed to do something this week.
I'm 3 hours late for work and probably unemployed now.
It's like Office Space getting out of bed. Like, yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi.
13 messages he missed work because you played. I don't know. What was the last video game you played?
Path of Exile is the one I've been playing the most. It's kind of a top-down action RPG. Free to play, but online only.
Really?
But it's a blast. It is a blast.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't heard of that one.
Just came well, it was only for PC, and now they've ported it to Xbox, and I believe PS4 as well. But it's by Grinding Gear Games, which I believe is out of New Zealand.
Huh.
But it's fantastic. I always end up losing the story. Like, why the hell am I in this world? Like, what am I actually doing? Like, I just get caught up chasing loot and leveling up and, going here, seeing the different level designs. And it's like, why the fuck am I actually here? Can you imagine being a hero like that? Like, you're just, like, if this was a real life situation, you're just slaying demons and monsters and shit, picking up all these really cool weapons, and you got this big ass backpack. You're just hauling this shit around. It's like, wait, why the hell am I actually here? Like, I'm supposed to be doing so. Is there a princess? Is there like, am I trying to say, what the hell am I actually doing?
You just have short-term memory loss. Like, what was the mission?
Yeah, like,
honestly, that's
you get so wrapped up in just these all the side quests and just, again, the development. You should see the skill tree in this game. Like, I feel like I need an electrical engineer. It looks like a schematic. And all these different things. I'm like, well, huh? I can be a dual wielding, fire throwing.
You could just adopt an Asian, I guess.
That was bad. That was bad.
That's very bad, but I'm just saying, if you stereotype it, maybe that could help you with the game.
Yeah.
And then you could pay them $1 a day to
just
get it done.
Just Google it. Do the Google.
Do the Google.
Path of Exile skill tree. Your mind will be blown.
I'm going to put it in my saved pages right now.
But that's what's been soaking up a lot of my time. Another embarrassing thing that I was going to share. Spent a lot of time in Minecraft. I'll be honest.
Really?
I just
my
love
kids play
building.
My 5-year-old plays that.
Just like, if I get like, the thing is, you don't get angry playing Minecraft.
Oh.
I get angry playing multiplayer games and stuff like that. You can't beat or level, or you're getting your butt kicked in multiplayer by a bunch of tweens.
If it's a ranked game.
Because, those types of things, you get angry at that kind of stuff. At least if you're like me, a super competitive person.
Oh, trust me,
However,
dude.
you build a medieval type city in Minecraft, using those types of things. It's calm. It's relaxing. It's creative. So I would lose lots of hours there.
Trust me, I don't judge people for it. That's my biggest reason for not ever playing World of Warcraft. Because I thought, well, if I see enough value in it, I could get lost.
Get sucked in.
Yeah.
And I've got an addictive personality.
I do too, man.
That's what it comes down to, is straight up addiction. It's just fun. And again, it's an escape. It's just not, not that I have anything to escape from, but it's just...
Well, it's something out of the ordinary.
Things, but I find myself just spending hours on it.
No, I hear you there.
The stuff I'm building really isn't all that cool. Like, I see the other stuff, these, like, very detailed, super...
Well, like,
awesome
what are you building
like,
while I go grab a Kleenex and blow my nose?
Well, I'm building that kind of stuff, but it's actually... I look at it, and then I look at like videos of other stuff people build. I'm like, that's just not as cool. Like, like just I was
It's
actually
like
trying to
an art show where like somebody's bringing home this beautiful sculpture they made, and you've got like 3 pieces of macaroni glued to construction paper. Like, right.
One of the pieces of macaroni's broken, so it's just like a little shard of macaroni stuck to the
My
page.
mom says she likes it.
That's essentially it. Like I know these people they probably spend a lot more time on it than I do, but I feel for the time that I put into this, the architecture should be a lot better.
It doesn't matter though as long as you're enjoying it.
But with obviously with Minecraft you're limited. Everything's a square.
Yeah.
So I'm not great at getting the curves and the domes and the stuff that these people can pull off. Like I'm always like, I get to a point where I think it's pretty good, but then it's like, fuck, I'm block off. Now it's all lopsided. I got 7 that way, I got 6 this way. It's not square. Gotta burn it down or blow it up. Do whatever you gotta do.
But see, at least you get to burn it down.
Yeah.
Whereas like I remember playing StarCraft when I was doing ranked play, which I had never done before. I was like, I want to get online and play some StarCraft, and it'll be really nice. And then I was like, no, I'm out for blood. Let's see what I can do. It got to the point where 11 o'clock at night, half hour into this match, and then the dude pulls some really crummy thing that had I even had 2 units there, it would have been fine. But just wipes me out. Half hour into a ranked match, now it's 11:30 at night, and I'm just like,
the things we get angry about. You could have somebody run into me in a motor vehicle accident, and I'll be like, "Are you okay? You safe? Like, we're fine." But yet, I die once in a multiplayer match, and I become the most hate-filled, angry, curse-spouting person on the planet.
Isn't that why you didn't play Halo with us anymore?
Yeah, my blood pressure, my therapist,
how the fuck did he do that? I shot him in the head 80 fucking times and he fucking wasn't once. I remember you. I think it was San Andreas you were playing, where you were cruising in this car and took out a construction worker and just went, I fucking hate progress!
I remember that. That was in Brandon Beal's room.
It looked so good at the time, with the graphics and everything. You could totally tell that poor old Frank just wasn't going home to mama that night.
I have a feeling I hate progress. It's just wiping out this road crew and just...
It was just in a game, so it was really funny.
Angry at Orange Barrel season in Wisconsin.
Because it is in Wisconsin, man. Only 2 seasons.
As soon as the snow thaws, Orange Barrels everywhere.
I think they just freeze them in now. Oh, yeah. Highway G out here has been fun. Ugh.
But,
we are... Well, to be honest with you, I'm coming up to the point where I really gotta pee.
Yeah, beer's almost gone.
I know that this episode was not really about anything in particular, because we talked about superhero movies, because we talked a little DC, some Marvel, talked a little Game of Thrones, then reading.
Very little. That was supposed to be the whole...
That was going to be like the main focus, but I like where it goes. It was
the Tinder that started the fire.
We're talking about Tinder now? You're engaged and I'm married.
Not that Tinder. Not that Tinder.
I joke.
I key.
But the fact is, I like to just have a more natural conversation with you. Because we met in college. You were first my community advisor, where you tried to bust me for alcohol. You didn't try to. If you wanted to, you could have. I know. But that's where I first met you, in a slightly authoritative position. And then from there, roommates.
Perceived authority.
Basically, the guy worked out. He should have had a ref shirt on all the time. Like, he felt blow a whistle like, hey, no running. What for, guys?
Floor meeting.
Can you turn down your Jay-Z raps at night? It's after hours.
Oh, man. That could be a whole nother episode.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of serious things. We should talk about our time in college next time. You as a community advisor. I was a governor, and I took great pride in that until I realized it didn't really mean anything. Like, I just liked having the title eventually. Because I'm technically a reverend. I'm ordained. It's like, if I could still have that, I mean, it would be like Reverend Governor.
Did you print it on cardstock? Cardstock, or it doesn't count?
No, they actually shipped me all the materials and stuff. Oh. Like, I got a clergy clip-on for a lanyard.
Nice.
I've got the membership card in my wallet.
Okay.
It's black with gold writing. It was, like, very pretentious of them. Like, this is marble gilded in gold. But, no, I liked when we ramble, because when it's more natural, we have more fun. This episode, to me, was more about having fun, catching up, laughing, and talking about some fun stuff.
You lucky folks just get to be an audience.
And if you're not an audience, get with it.
This isn't for you, it's for us.
Naturally, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and also at the brand new rawcastad.com. So thank you, Nathan. Good seeing you. I know you got places to be. So the next random
places
chat.
Aren't going anywhere.
Have a good one.